Hi guys, my name is Kesar and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking all about hormones and how they impact our energy levels. How many of you feel so full of energy on some days? You go to work, you smash your HIIT session after work, you then go on to have dinner and drinks with friends, so full of energy, and then other days you just can't be bothered and all you want to do is stay at home, sit on your sofa and Netflix and chill. If this sounds like you, experiencing regular energy fluctuations over the course of the month, then watch this video and let me tell you exactly why. What if I told you that as a woman, the hormones of our menstrual cycle, which ebb and flow over a 28-day period, have a profound influence on our energy, the way we feel, our behaviour, and that by working with and aligning ourselves with what is happening in our bodies at a hormonal level, we can get our cycle working for us. In this video today, I am going to tell you exactly when in your cycle you will have high energy days and when you will have low energy days. And by the end of this video, you will be able to plan your weeks more efficiently, syncing up those high intensity activities for the high energy days and the low intensity activities for the low energy days, giving you total control of your own energy and its completely natural fluctuations. So before I dive in, you need to be tracking your period and know exactly what phase you're in for any of this to sort of make sense to you. And there's so many great cycle tracking apps out there. My favorites are Clue and Flow. And all you need to do is just download these onto your phone. You enter the dates of your last period and almost immediately it will tell you exactly which phase you're in. Now it takes 3 to 4 months for this to be really accurate, but this is a great starting point for you and for this discussion. Okay, so let's start off with the menstrual phase. So this is the first phase of the menstrual cycle and day 1 of your period. So in terms of what's going on at a hormonal level, this is a time when all of the hormones involved in the menstrual cycle will fall to their lowest levels. And this is really reflected in our energy levels at this time. This drop makes us feel more sleepy and more fatigued. You tend to be feeling a little bit more emotionally vulnerable, a tad more anxious and teary-eyed. And this is a real physical experience as well for us women. You know, we're losing up to a teaspoon of blood every day during our period. So it's inevitable that we're going to be feeling the physical effects of this on our energy levels. So it's no surprise then that this is a time where our energy turns more inward. We're less interested in what's going on in the outside world and we feel more inclined to stay at home and just be with ourselves. So then by tracking your cycle and knowing exactly when you will be in your menstrual phase, which is a time of low energy, you'll be able to really effectively forward plan, clearing your calendar of all of those big social events and dating events and just taking the time to slow down, rest and place more emphasis on self-care during this time. You can also spend some time journaling, reviewing, reflecting and setting intentions. Elisa Vitti in her book, where she talks a lot about cycle syncing, suggests that analysis and evaluation are the dominant desires during your menstrual phase. So, you know, you can be using this time really productively and looking to the future. In terms of exercise, because your energy levels are lower at this time, you want to be engaging in gentler exercise and activities that are more restorative to you. So this is a great time to do things like yoga and Pilates and walking and breath work, all very gentle and restorative. So next up is the follicular phase, which technically starts on day 1 of your period, but for the purposes of cycle syncing and for aligning ourselves with how our hormones are making us feel, we consider this phase to sort of start around day 6, 7 or 8, you know, towards the end of your period, where you start to feel a real change. So in terms of what's going on at a hormonal level, well, basically your body is preparing for ovulation. And what this means is that the hormone estrogen is increasing. And towards the end of the phase, you will also see an increase in testosterone. And because of this surge in estrogen and your increased energy levels, you'll find yourself becoming more interested in the outside world again and wanting to interact with people. And in fact, this phase and the next phase, which is ovulation, are in fact your most social phases of the menstrual cycle. So again, by tracking your cycle and using the app's predictive function, this is the time in the calendar to start scheduling time with your family and friends. So scheduling time for dinner, for drinks, for long weekends away. And this is also a time where you will find yourself more open to new experiences. So in terms of exercise, towards the end of this phase, with the rise of estrogen, strenuous exercise will feel increasingly good. So this is a time to get out there and do a little bit more strenuous activities. So running, biking, dance classes, outdoor hikes, all of those things will feel really fun right now. So now we hit the ovulation phase. This is probably the best phase of the menstrual cycle, and you will genuinely feel like you can do anything and everything. At a hormonal level, this is when estrogen and testosterone, which has been slowly increasing, reaches their peak levels, really boosting the effects of the follicular phase. So basically, the ovulation phase is the time to say yes to everything. And you'll actually find yourself needing to eat less during this phase. Yeah, that's right, because as estrogen peaks during this phase, it actually suppresses your appetite. So at a hormonal level, you are less inclined to reach out for that pasta and pizza. Who knew? And add to that, you have testosterone, which genuinely feels like you can do so much more in a day than usual. And another interesting fact for you, at the beginning of this phase, before ovulation, you have less need for sleep. So you can get away with those late nights, which is why you're probably feeling like you can do so much in a day than usual, which I think is super interesting. So what does all of this hormonal stuff mean for the ovulation phase, and how can you make this work for you? So because of the increased confidence that estrogen gives you, you might also find yourself feeling a little bit more adventurous during this phase. So really use this energy to put yourself out there and connect and meet with new people. It can also give you the momentum that you need internally to start something new. So it could be starting a new blog or starting a new YouTube channel. You know, this is the time to put yourself out there and share yourself with the world if you want to, because you'll be feeling more adventurous and just feel a little bit more confident in yourself. So in terms of exercise, because of this surge of testosterone pre-ovulation, this is when you're likely to be hitting your personal bests. And maybe you've already experienced this already. So you have set out for a run, a 5K run, you've set your Fitbit or whatever it is you're using, you do the run, you finish it, you look down and you're like, wow, I've done that 5K run in record time. You probably have testosterone to thank for that. So this is the time to really raise your game, set those goals and go for it. And this is also the time when you'll probably be smashing those high intensity interval training classes because you have so much energy to burn. So this is a great time to do things like CrossFit, spin classes, boot camps, just because of all the testosterone and high energy that you have. So after the ovulation phase, we have the final phase of the menstrual cycle, which is the luteal phase. So during the first few days of the luteal phase, you'll still have elevated estrogen and testosterone. But after ovulation, a few days after ovulation, so this is around days 20 to 21 in a 28-day cycle, this high energy and flow that you've just been experiencing will be interrupted, and you'll find yourself, or you'll find your energy levels starting to slump once more and your energy turning more inward. At a hormonal level, this energy slump can be attributed to a hormone called progesterone. And this hormone is basically responsible for the building and the thickening of your uterine lining, and basically preparing your body for pregnancy. And as progesterone increases during the luteal phase, you may also find yourself experiencing those classic PMS symptoms, so bloating, sweet cravings, and dodgy digestion. So as your energy levels are slowly starting to decline over this phase, this is a time when we really once again need to start being very mindful and purposeful with how and when we're spending our energy. The lead up to a period can be quite a tricky time for a lot of women, but I just want to take the time to kind of share the things that you can be doing during this phase to really support your energy levels, because you may find them fluctuating quite a lot during this phase. So progesterone, the great relaxer. Did you know, another interesting fact for you, that progesterone actually makes falling asleep a lot easier, and it happens a lot more quickly. So if you find yourself nodding off on the sofa at 9 o'clock watching Bridgerton for the third time, you've probably got progesterone to blame for that. But take advantage of this, because as you approach your period, you may find that your sleep becomes a lot lighter and you're more likely to wake up in the middle of the night and struggle to fall back asleep. So, you know, in the days where falling asleep is really easy, take advantage of it, because you don't want to end up running on empty for consecutive days ahead of your period. Sugar highs and mid-afternoon slumps. So progesterone actually lessens insulin sensitivity. So during this phase, you're more prone to sugar and insulin imbalances. And that might explain why during this phase you may feel like you're experiencing those mid-afternoon slumps a lot more than usual. So in terms of keeping your sugar levels and therefore your energy levels more balanced, because the two are interlinked, we really need to focus on eating well during this phase, eating well in a way that is stabilizing for our blood sugar levels. So replace the refined carbohydrates for good complex carbohydrates like brown rice and brown pasta. Try and have protein and healthy fats with every single meal, and don't reach for a chocolate bar as a snack. You want to be having snacks that are fulfilling and that keep your sugar levels balanced. So for example, an apple slice dipped in peanut butter is a great snack. You will still have a good dose of energy for exercise during this phase, but probably not for the high intensity activities that we were just talking about. So after ovulation, it's probably a good idea to switch your exercise regime and focus on low impact cardio and perhaps some strength training. And then in the days leading up to your period, you might want to be focusing on exercise that is focused on conditioning and flexibility. So once again, Pilates and yoga are great forms of exercise to be doing during the tail end of the luteal phase. So now that you know exactly when you're going to be having your high energy days and your low energy days, and you have a few tips on how best to align yourselves and your activities with these completely natural hormonal fluctuations, make this information work for you. Start by tracking your cycle using one of the many free apps that are out there, and then sync up your activities and your self-care activities to the phase that you are in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comments box below. I will be releasing another video soon on cycle syncing, so if this is something that you find interesting and you've enjoyed, please press subscribe and you will be the first to know when I publish the next video.